Are doppelgangers infiltrating our world, and are they us or not? That question feels less like science fiction and more like a quiet warning when viewed through the lens of the X-Files. In the universe, doubles aren't just eerie, they're strategic, calculated, and potentially replacing us without anyone noticing. In today's episode, we follow that unsettling thread. What if someone who looks exactly like you isn't you at all? What would their purpose be? Who sent them? And what does it mean for the rest of us? I've created custom questions to explore whether these parallel agents are real, what their agenda might be, and how to recognize the signs. Let's pull back the curtain and see what the cards reveal. Hello everyone, welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time on my channel. We're going to hop right in here with question 1. Do identical copies of people, true doppelgangers, exist in this world or nearby dimensions? So we're going to start with Oracle because it does not read my mind, and then move on to Tarot for more detail. Again, do identical copies of people, true doppelgangers, exist in this world or nearby dimensions? All right. Here we go. We have Dr. X. I'm going to pull one more. I have an inkling what this is, but I don't want to say it until I'm sure. Victim. Okay, so with Dr. X, I'm going to say that there are definitely identical copies of us, true doppelgangers, that do exist, some in this world, some in nearby dimensions. And I say that because we have an X and we have the images of people here. These are not you. They might look like you, but they're not you. We're the victims here. In this particular case, that's kind of what the story is that when doppelgangers come in, it's a bad thing. We're the victims, but we're not going to go with that as yet for a definite. That victim card may mean something completely different. So let's keep going. And if you hear birds loudly here, we have baby birds in our fireplace, or I should say our chimney. Next. And the mom comes to feed them. They're not supposed to be there, but somehow the wire mesh or whatever over the top of the chimney must have a hole in it, because she's down in there with her babies and their nest, and she has fallen into the fireplace once or twice. I've had to rescue her, let her outside. She goes back in to feed the babies. And now I have the flue propped closed, so hopefully she doesn't fall back into the fireplace, and neither do they. All right, so next. This is just saying we don't really know why the doppelgangers are here. We aren't seeing the future. We aren't seeing the reason that they've come yet. We might feel victim if we happen to run into them. It's like, okay, why do you have my face, my body? You know, are you trying to take over my life? We don't know this. So we can pretend like we know what's going to happen, but we really don't at this point. And then we have Michael. There's an angel, or he's an angel, not a saint. It's almost like it's saying here, especially with that saying, he's an angel, not a saint. It's almost like it's saying here that the doppelgangers are, what do I want to say, the darker side of us, perhaps. They are putting out, or their personality is the dark side of us rather than the lighter side. And we each have a dark and a light side to us. We'd like to integrate them because integrating them makes for a balanced person. But to us, these doppelgangers, and again, this is part of the story about doppelgangers, is what I'm getting. They do exist. They do. And they exist in our dimension and nearby dimensions. We have been told to look at them as a bad thing, that they are going to come in and take over our lives, which obviously would make us feel like a victim, but we really don't know if that's the case or not. They might be a more balanced us with Michael. He's an angel, not a saint. So in other words, dark and light together. Or the way that doppelgangers have been explained, again, we might be looking at them as the darker side of us, or doing something dark, trying to take over our lives. We have Mothman prophecies, Dragonfly, and the Phantom of the Opera. So with the Mothman prophecies, the whole point of the Mothman was a warning, right? So if we have this warning, look out for doppelgangers. Oh no, doppelgangers are coming and they're going to do something bad to us if they're here in our world and they look like us, and they're going to take over our lives for sure. That's the story behind doppelgangers. But with Dragonfly, I believe this is asking the question of, are they here to stay? Or are they here for a specific purpose and then going on their way? Maybe there's something that we have to do, have to learn, that we don't have the guts to do. They're here for that, perhaps. At any rate, chances are we're not going to know they're here. The Phantom of the Opera. We're not going to know that they're here. They're phantom-like to us, perhaps. And they might be phantom-like, pretty much flitting from here to here, avoiding us, if at all possible, so that they can do whatever it is they came here to do, which, again, we don't know. So let's take a look at tarot and see if tarot can give us a little bit more information on this question. So we have Ace of Swords. This story, yeah, there's definitely doppelgangers here and in nearby dimensions, but the story about doppelgangers is, there's a lot of different stories. Anything is possible with the doppelganger, apparently. So we have to take things with a grain of salt. We don't need to panic over it and run to the doctor kind of thing. We need to observe and see what happens, I guess. Eight of Wands. This is where we really, our imagination really takes over fast. When we hear about doppelgangers or consider seeing one, every story we've ever heard about one pops into our head. We are instantly a victim with most of these stories, and it just takes over our mind. The High Priestess, the reason that they're here, we don't know. It is a mystery, truly a mystery. but we think we know. Six of Wands. We recognize them as something not good. However, with the Michael card, it's a good and a bad. An angel, but not a saint. So good and bad. We have the Six of Wands. The six is harmony. Something wonderful. So we don't really know which direction they're going. Light, dark. Is it going to be harmonious for us? What is it going to be? We don't know. And with the Queen of Pentacles and the warning, we automatically tend to want to protect ourselves, to take care of ourselves whenever we hear or see something that indicates perhaps somebody come in and taking over our lives, whether it be a doppelganger or something different or someone different. This is how we react. We want to be sure we stay in our skin and that we're the only ones. Mothman prophecies, it's like an internal warning to us. Knight of Swords. This is just saying that they're coming in actively to communicate something specific to us. Doing something, communicating something, sharing something that we ourselves maybe aren't ready to face, or that we can't do, but somebody has to move us forward. Devil. We look at them as a bad thing, but it appears that they have very good intentions. So we are going to clean this up and see where else this goes. And if you're new to my channel, my cleanup process is a little bit slow, simply because I want to make sure, since the shuffling portion of these videos is very short, these cards need to be mixed well, because repeat cards do show up, and I want to make sure that those repeat cards are meant to show up and aren't showing up because I didn't shuffle well enough. Same thing happens with the oracles. I just tuck them randomly in a pile in no specific order. And again, so that way if we get repeats, they're meant to be coming out. Oh, and they do show. All right, so second question here. Are some doppelgangers being sent here with a purpose? So that kind of was brushed upon in question 1, kind of giving us maybe a heads up. So are some doppelgangers being sent here with a purpose? Good news. Okay. Well, one of the things that it said after the question is, could someone or something be replacing people intentionally? With the good news, I'm going to say that yes, they are here for a purpose. And the good news is they're not replacing anybody. G.I. Jane. Yeah, these doppelgangers really have a challenge ahead of them. They really do. They're sent here with a specific purpose. That is the good news. They do have a specific purpose, and no matter what, they are going to achieve what they set out to do, no matter what happens to them. Failing is not an option. The night they drove old Dixie down. they're not here to just stand around and look at what we're doing to our lives. That's not what they're here for. They're here to help us perhaps handle a loss, give us strength, help us rebuild something, help us adapt to something. They're here for a good reason. Jaws. And they do come forward or come into our world or our dimension when we need a bigger boat. When the world has really set its jaws on us, or something has really set its jaws on us, and we need a bigger boat. We need extra help. Now you see me. Ladies should listen. And witchy woman. So with the now you see me, all this is saying is you might see this person that looks exactly like you, or you may not. Okay, with now you see me, these are magicians. They create illusions to sidetrack people. So chances are you probably won't see them. And it says ladies should listen. You might hear them. Might be the little voice in your head, or you think it is. They are you, right? So I'm assuming they would be on the same frequency and be able to communicate with you telepathically pretty easily. So you might consider listening. You had a warning in question 1 that perhaps there was a doppelganger coming in. So maybe you can look for them, you can listen. But remember, it is a mystical situation. If you're meant to know, you'll know. But if you're not meant to know, you won't. Also, because most people consider doppelgangers dangerous, you may end up missing the boat completely because you are afraid of the doppelganger, or afraid of the idea of the doppelganger, or afraid of the idea of a person coming in and taking over your life. In that case, you'll consider them dangerous and you won't see a thing. It's just going to happen whether you see it or not. So let's see what Tarot has to add to this question. Okay. We have the High Priestess. It's good news, but it's still going to be a mystery. In other words, doppelgangers are sent here for a purpose, but we don't know exactly what that purpose is. Hanged Man. Yeah, there is no surrender for G.I. Jane. These doppelgangers are going to help with getting a different kind of perspective for us about a situation, a person, whatever they're here for, whatever we need help with. The Chariot. They are going to be the confident side of us. They're going to be able to give that strength and to help us mourn whatever loss, or rebuild whatever we need to rebuild, and to adapt to whatever we need to adapt to. They're going to make sure the wheels are in motion and that we are confident, that we appear confident to whomever we need to appear confident to. Ace of Pentacles. This is their gift of life to us. These doppelgangers are giving us a gift of life. Doesn't happen all the time, but they're helping us get that bigger boat. Queen of Wands. They may appear just as our imagination, a very large portion of our imagination. They might even go so far as to increase our energy when they're around. If we see them, we might feel a spark. If we don't see them, if we think we do and they zap out of existence, kind of like the Phantom of the Opera, if we do see them and they're suddenly gone, again, we're going to feel their energy. Their energy is going to be caring energy, nurturing energy. It isn't at all what the stories share. Queen of Cups. Yes, this is saying listen to your intuition. You have powerful intuition. So we have the energy that they're going to give. We have love that they're going to give. They care about us because they are us. They're just a little more evolved, I think. A little more confident. Four of Wands. Yes, they feel at home. Their energy is stable. It's strong. It matches ours. It's home. But it's still going to be a mystery to us. And for some, it's still going to seem dangerous. In that case, no matter what these doppelgangers do, it's going to get done because they have a purpose. They came here to help us get a bigger boat. But we may not be able to handle the idea. Some of us. All right, so let us clean this up and move forward with question 3. And again, if you're new to my channel, it isn't happening right now, but I have a Chihuahua who oftentimes likes to lay in my room with me as I'm recording. So most of my videos have snoring, Chihuahua snoring in them. Just wanted to give you a heads up on that so you know what strange sounds you might be hearing in the background. Kind of like the birds I warned you about just earlier. 'Tis life. There is never a perfect time for recording videos. All right, so we're moving on to question 3. Would we know if someone close to us had already been replaced? In other words, we kind of want to know how well they can mimic behavior, memories, and energy. So again, I don't believe, it hasn't said this specifically, but I don't believe that they're actually replacing us. Like we're no longer on the earth kind of thing. I'm not getting that, but let's see what the cards have to say. So we have ghost. Okay, they are us, but they are ghost-like. And we had something similar with dragonfly. They are ghost-like. So chances are we're maybe going to feel them, we might hear them, but it's going to feel more like a haunting, like what people talk about with haunting, like there's a ghost trying to get our attention by doing things that catch our attention, such as moving objects, or we might notice things like that. Family. Family is not going to notice. I don't believe that they're going to notice unless you're really close. You know, you might be a twin. Let's say you're a twin and there is a doppelganger for one of the twins. Maybe that twin, maybe the other twin would notice something if they were actually able to see the doppelganger. kind of like the Now You See Me, or yeah, Now You See Me card. It's illusion. It's magic. So you may or may not see them. Field of Dreams. They are here to help create something, help you do something, help you build, help you believe, help you navigate life somehow. That's what they're here for. And again, the Field of Dreams within that movie is the ball players are spirits of the ball players. They're not actually the real life flesh and blood ball players. They are spirits. So here we are again. Family is not going to probably see them. So there is no behavior necessarily to mimic, or memories to change, or energy to, they're not going to come in and take over your body. Then we have the Green Mile. It's more of a psychic thing. They are here. They are physically here. And we already know that our energy, we can feel it in our energy and we can hear them if we actually listen and know that they're here first, then to listen to. But yeah, it's more of a psychic thing. Something is going on, I think, in the minds of family that is helping us somehow. Shop Around the Corner. Westworld. Is Gun for Hire. In some ways, these doppelgangers are very different from us. And in some ways, they are very much the same. But an important thing to distinguish between is that they are not robotic individuals or robotic AI, want to take over the world kind of beings. That's not who they are. And they're not here to do anything bad to us when they come. As we've said, they have a purpose, and that purpose is to assist us. They are, a lot of it is through psychic abilities, as we see with the Green Mile. And they can, as we said before, they can communicate with us, as these two in the movie communicate with one another as pen pals. They can communicate with us mentally, telepathically. They can make us hear them. Felt like I had a spider or something in my hair. Could kind of see it out of the corner of my eye. Okay, so let us see what the tarot has to share. We have the Hierophant. They are ghost-like, and they are here as mentors, teachers. Maybe they've already gone through what we are going through. Maybe our dimension is a little slower than theirs, and they know what's going to happen, so they come to help us. Six of Cups. They know our family because their family is like our family. They have very similar memories to ours because our lives are very similar, but not exactly similar. They have some of the memories, and there might be a little difference in the family situation. Queen of Pentacles. But the fact of the matter is, they are us. And they are here to help us with something specific. To transform us somehow on a psychic level, on a frequency level. to help us change something, transform something, handle something. Four of Pentacles. Yeah, again, reiterating, they are us. They're home when they're here. We're home if we go there. It's a stable communication that we have, if we hear it. Ten of Cups, yeah, they're not AI robots out to take over the world. No, they're not. They are here to, this Ten of Cups is the ultimate love situation. It is they love us very much because they love themselves very much. They wouldn't want to see anything bad happen to them, so they don't want to see anything bad happen to us. King of Cups. We've got Ten of Cups and we've got King of Cups. This is the ultimate love. Yeah, they don't want to do anything bad to us. And they keep reiterating this in this reading. They aren't trying to replace us at all. There's no sign of that here. All right, so let us get this cleaned up and get ready to move on to question 4. And if you're enjoying my content, please consider liking and subscribing. Also sharing for other or with other people who might enjoy this content as well. But most important, I would love to hear what you think of the cards, what you think of the subject of doppelgangers. That would be great if you would leave a comment, share your thoughts there. That would be really cool, and I would read it and do my best to respond. So think about it. All right, so we're moving on to question 4. Okay, the questions were based apparently on doppelgangers doing something not so good. So question 4 says, are these replacements part of a larger covert operation or spontaneous anomalies caused by rips between realities, natural or orchestrated? So basically, are they here by accident? Or were they sent? Oh, we don't do that. Or did they come because they knew something was up? Alfred Hitchcock, The Birds. I think they sense that something is, a little birdie tells them that something is not quite kosher, that something is in need of their help. Radio, yeah, it comes on a frequency to them because, again, you are the same person. They have the same frequency you do and vice versa. You might actually, even if you think about it, if I'm correct in the fact that their world maybe moves faster than ours does, and they're going through some kind of horrifying experience, we might actually feel that here. We might not know what, it might be a feeling of trepidation, perhaps. Or a sudden fear that we have no idea why we're afraid. Maybe something's happening to them that we're feeling. But yes, I believe that they sense something, and through our frequency, our vibration. Take the money and run. Unfortunately, they get a bad rap. And again, going back to the question, are these replacements, is how this question is worded. It isn't like that. They get a bad rap. Doppelgangers get a bad rap. They're not here to steal anything from us. They're not here to take over. No, they're not. That's pretty clear cut there. They're not here to do anything bad to us. And they are not a part of a covert operation. And it isn't rips in our reality that brings them in. Goodbye, Yellow Brick Road. Yeah, goodbye to the fantasy of it. Well, I think it's saying here it's time to let go of the idea that there's something bad, that doppelgangers are something bad. They've been painted that way. It's time to surrender to the fact that they're here to do something good. We're more enlightened now. And they're helping create that awakening for us. They're reflecting a certain kind of light onto us, a certain kind of frequency when we need it. If we are in a situation that they've already been through perhaps, and they know how to handle. So let's see what Tarot has to add to this. We have the Page of Wands. They sense the energy. They can feel it. For us, something like that, again, as we talked about, we might sense from them as well. And they sense from us. It's an energy. It's some kind of energy that we might not be very familiar with, that is new to us, but I think to them it's not so new. Four of Pentacles again. So yeah, they feel it. They feel the change because they are that accustomed to, or that in tune with, their own stability, their own inner structure, their own frequency. They get it. So any change they notice, any change in energy, any new energy change, they notice. Three of Cups. They are like a friend to us. They love us. They're like a friend. They're here to help us grow. They are not here to take over anything. Four of Wands. They're here to help us grab that stable energy, to make us feel more at home within ourselves. Justice. I think this is just saying they want a fair trial. They want us to get rid of this illusion that they're bad and they're going to take over the world and they're going to do... None of this tells us anything like that. They would like to have the story put out there in a truthful manner, as the cards are attempting to do here. Three of Pentacles. They want to help. They want to help us grow in life. That's what it's all about. They don't want to have the things, they don't want us to have the same emotions and the same horrors of life as they have had. again, going on the premise that what has happened in their dimension has not yet happened in ours. The world, yes, we are more enlightened. They are trying to help us navigate this world and beyond. That's what they're here for. So no, they're not a part of a covert operation, and it's not a rip in reality. It is, they come in because they feel the need. They feel us in need. All right, so let us pick up again and move on to question 5. There are 6 questions in total in this X-Files Inspired episode 9. It's kind of I guess I really didn't expect things to go this way or to have, I didn't expect it. I've heard the stories too about doppelgangers, and this is not the story I've heard. I've not heard that they are here for our benefit. I've never heard that. But, there's always something new. And we don't know where those other stories came from. At least I don't. All right, so question 5. If you encountered your double, what is the likelihood one of you wouldn't survive the meaning? Now, this is supposedly a classic doppelganger legend that if you see the doppelganger face to face, one of you is going to die. So this question is just saying, is this true? Jaws. Okay, so they are here for the purpose of helping us get a bigger boat. We're going to stick with that. Might change with the next few cards, but we're going to stick with that. Ooh. I feel like they're just reiterating here. They're not here to eat us alive. They are here to help us get a bigger boat. Help us deal with something heavy. Legally Blonde. It is to, the way it looks, help us grow and see things from a different perspective. If you remember the movie Legally Blonde, she thought all life was about being wealthy and having the right clothes and the right shoes, and she was popular because she was wealthy and so on and so forth. And she realized in getting into the real world that if she really wanted to be respected and do something, she had to work at it. So they're here to help us grow and learn something valuable. Deja vu. They can help us see things. And sometimes what they send telepathically, as we've already talked about, it can feel like a trick of the mind. Gosh, did I really think that kind of thing? Or where did that come from? You get thoughts like that sometimes. So you might think it's a trick of the mind, but in essence, they're trying to share some truth with you. Farewell to Arms. Yeah, they're trying to do something for you that's worthwhile. They want to make sure that whatever they've felt from their dimension or dealt with from their dimension, if it's happening to you now, they want to make sure that you do not have to go through what they did. Mosquito Coast, King Kong, and Mask. So it's just saying that, like in Mosquito Coast, all the things that were happening in the world, he couldn't handle it. So he took his family out on a boat all on his own, and he was kind of a dictator, kind of a jerk, dangerous jerk. And that is kind of what we feel like. Do we have to keep our space? Do we have to, if this doppelganger comes and we see them, can we put a distance between us and be okay? And all this is saying is, this is just not how it works. It's not true. King Kong it's a big story. That is a big story. And maybe the story was created because, well, who knows? Maybe it was created. The story was created by a doppelganger. I don't know. But it's not true. We need to be able to see beyond the mask and realize that, no, they're here to help. And again, they come mostly in ghostly form, as we've seen. They communicate more telepathically than straight out in front of us. I imagine they could come straight out in front of us if they needed to. But the answer to this question is no. Nobody is going to die by meeting their doppelganger. That's fallacy. It's a big story with King Kong. It's a big story. And a lot of the things that perhaps he was noticing in Mosquito Coast would be considered conspiracy. Well, that's just duplicating here. They're not. It's a big story. Nobody's going to die. Okay. With tarot, we have 9 of Wands. They're here to help us navigate the battle. Whatever battle that is, whatever energy battle we're dealing with, and that they can feel we're very tired and almost defeated but not giving up. They're here to help carry that burden. Help us get a bigger boat. The Hermit, yes, they are here to share their wisdom with us. They've already done the work. They've already retreated. They've already gone through all the scenarios. They've already dealt with what you're dealing with now. And they're here to share their wisdom with you. You have a choice to listen or believe what you get in your mind. You have a choice. I don't think they really can do a whole lot if you, well, no, I take that back. They can make the changes needed, but with more difficulty if you're not on board with it. You have a choice. 5 of Pentacles, they want to help you get through the challenging things in life. That's, again, what they're here for, to help you through the challenges. Knight of Cups. This man in Mosquito Coast was doing what he thought was best for his family because he loved his family, right? So he was active in that love. These doppelgangers are active in their love also. They are not, they're not out to get you. 6 of Wands. Yeah, this story's been told a lot. And for some people, you know, I would think it would make you feel better to realize that, or to recognize that this doppelganger is not a bad thing, not here to do anything bad to you, and that's just a great big story. Death. Yeah, how you believe can transform how you see a doppelganger and how other people see a doppelganger. But if you're the only one, through the growth that they share, their wisdom, you're going to realize and transform your own idea of them. It's just kind of how it works. So nobody's going to die. It is a transformation of belief, not death. All right, so let us move on to question 6. I really love that the cards they literally go their own way. This is something that I would have never thought was going to come out for this subject. And again, that is why I always start with the oracle cards, because I feel like the tarot for me mirrors what I'm thinking. So I think if I'd have started with the tarot, it would have been a totally different reading here, because in my mind, with the stories that I've heard about doppelgangers, they aren't good. So I think that's what it would have mirrored. But the oracle does not read my mind. It gives me a more true picture. That's how I feel anyway. All right, so question 6. What signs, symbols, or events might alert us to an infiltration? And again, on the premise that these doppelgangers were not good, all right, is what this question is based on. So with knowing what we know, we can just change that word infiltration to what signs, symbols, or events might alert us to their presence. We have cheaper by the dozen. This might be saying, and I may need another card here for this, but this might be just saying that suddenly we have a lot more going on in our mind than we're accustomed to. Or maybe we're having thoughts that don't seem like ours, or don't seem like they fit the situation, or yeah. So let us see where this goes. Desire. We may have a desire also to move in a different direction than we had previously planned. And another way to take this cheaper by the dozen card is there's a lot of people in this card. So there's a lot of different thoughts going on, okay? And again, it goes back to what I said. There's a lot more going on in your mind than you are used to. So that would be a sign. It's like, wow, where did that thought come from? It's not me. I wouldn't think something like that. So anyway, the desire card is we are desiring to do something different perhaps than what we initially may have thought to do. Or this is them putting their desire in our mind to help us move forward. So let's see where it goes. Volcano. I feel like for them to be able to get a main thought through, something that we really need to pay attention to, it comes across as a desire, and it comes across as a very hot desire in our mind. Something that just keeps boiling. You've had those things that, come up in your mind and you just can't get rid of the thought. It's like it plays over and over and over again. There's Legally Blonde again. Yes. The point of doing this is to help us grow, to help us learn something valuable, learn something new, change something within ourselves. Bad Moon Rising. Titanic. Ooh. and Casablanca. Yes, what they're trying to attempt to help us do here is, it's a warning from them. It is, well, look at, we've got Titanic right next to Bad Moon Rising, which Bad Moon Rising is like a bad omen, or, you know, preparing or being alert to something, a warning of some kind. And here we have the Titanic, which supposedly sank. But again, they are doing this because they love us. They are close to us. They are us. So yes, they can warn us. They can place thoughts in our minds, the reason, and make them thoughts that we just cannot ignore. But it's not a bad thing. Usually it's to help us pay attention to something that we really need to pay attention to. They do not want to see anything bad happen to us. Because again, we are them. And maybe something happens to us. Or maybe if something happens to us, it happens to them too, in their timeline, or something similar. The Lovers. Yes, they are, again, all of these thoughts. We have the choice of what to listen to, what to throw out, what to make a part of us as a part of our belief system. So yes, they throw a lot of different things into the mind. Nine of Swords. In a way, I think they help us sort through the things that really cause us anxiety and cause us fear, and help us to determine what is actually desire, what would be good for us, rather than what they want us to focus on, rather than the worries and the anxieties. They're trying to help us focus on what we desire instead. And they put a lot of strength into making that particular thought show up within your mind. They put a lot of strength and power into that. Eight of Swords. They want us to know that we don't have to be a victim. They want us to know this. They're trying to teach us. They're trying to help us grow. They're trying to help us master our own minds, master our own communication, master ideas that will help us grow. Justice. They're calling us. They're calling to us, and they have been called to do this. Something within them calls them to us. Despite what we might think of them, they still come. Despite the fact that we might think they're bad, or they're not. They're here to give us or to help us with whatever warning, whatever bad omen. Help us be prepared and alert to whatever the event, the situation, whatever it is, which again is a mystery. They can see it, they can feel it, they know. We do not yet. But they're here to help. Two of Pentacles. They're here to bring balance back to us, meaning them and us, because they're the closest thing we have to, I mean, if we were, we would be even closer than twins, because they are us and we are them. So they're trying to bring balance back to basically us, them and us. That's what it, because number one, they can,
and they need to. It's important. So again, it might be such a thing as we can affect them and they can affect us. If they are a bit more, if they are a little bit ahead of us in their dimension, then they might be a bit more enlightened than we are. So what we feel, what's going on for us, may affect them harsher. Whereas for us, as we saw in a previous question, we might feel it. We might feel something going on, like fear of some kind or something like that, but we don't have a clue where it's coming from. It's just suddenly a feeling. Ooh, I got the shivers. Something happened, but I don't know what. And then we move on with our day. Maybe it's not that easy for them if they're ahead of us. So to bring balance back, they come here. They try to help to the best of their ability. And like I said, with G.I. Jane in this position previously, it's a desire. Failing is not an option. They have to do it. So that is it for this episode, X-Files Inspired, episode 9. Here is a teaser for episode 10, which, by the way, will be the last episode of X-Files. We're moving on to another television series. Teaser for episode 10. Next time, we're stepping off the map. People are vanishing into other times, places, or realities and reappearing with stories that don't fit our world. Are these time slips and dimensional bleed-throughs just glitches, or a deep pattern we've failed to notice? In episode 10, we'll follow the clues and let the cards reveal what's really shifting beneath the surface of reality. Don't miss it. So there's the teaser for episode 10 of the X-Files Inspired series. On the screen also, you can see the schedule for the shows that I do each week. If you like the X-Files, you might like the other two as well, so take a peek at those if you're so inclined. And with all that said, I want to thank you for being here with me for this episode and hope that you've made it to the end here and that you'll come back again very soon. In the meantime, I'll see you next week. Have a great one.